going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City transfer video. Today, June 1st, marks not only the opening of the summer transfer window here in the UK, but it also means my daily Manchester City transfer series returns to YouTube once more, where I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single step of the way with all the latest Manchester City transfer news this summer. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It is free to subscribe. Now less than 200 subs away from my aim of 44,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on the video. Get your thoughts in the comments below, where today we're going to be looking at 10 players Man City could sign this summer. Which players are you wanting Man City to sign this summer and why? Let me know in the comments below. And also don't forget as well to go and check out my social media links, which you can find in the description, including my X, Instagram and TikTok, with my email also in the description too, if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. So Manchester City got a very big, very busy summer coming up. There's going to be plenty of outgoings. It means there's going to be plenty of incomings, and the Manchester City squad, I suspect, over the coming weeks and months, probably going to look vastly different to what we saw last season, as I think Man City here looking in the summer transfer window to try and be relentless and ruthless if they're going to follow the same direction they went in the January transfer window, which is what I think Man City are going to be doing in this transfer window as well. So let's have a look at 10 names being heavily linked with a move to Man City and just how likely these deals are. So the first couple of positions that we're going to speak about is going to be goalkeepers. The first player I want to speak about is Diogo Costa, the 25-year-old 6'1" goalkeeper at FC Porto. I feel like this is the most realistic goalkeeping transfer that Man City can get done this summer, with me expecting Ederson to be leaving Manchester City this summer as well. Diogo Costa has made 32 appearances in Portugal's top division. He's kept 16 clean sheets, so 1 in every 2 games he keeps a clean sheet, conceding 27 times in them 32 appearances. He is Portugal's #1 as well. He's got a release clause set at €60 million, so £50.42 million. Man City are not interested in paying that price. Manchester City want to negotiate on that price, and I imagine City will be looking at somewhere between 30 and to £40 million to make this transfer happen. More than likely, it'll be more towards the latter part of that sum rather than looking at around £30 million. But that would be the direction I think that City will be looking for when it comes to goalkeepers. The other goalkeeper that's been heavily linked, and the second player I want to speak about in terms of goalkeepers, is Joan Garcia. He's a 24-year-old Spanish goalkeeper at Espanyol. Lots of interest coming in this summer from around Europe in Garcia, a quality young goalkeeper standing at 6'3", plays really well with his feet. He's a good shot stopper, a good solid goalkeeper. Made 37 appearances in La Liga with 7 clean sheets and conceded 51 times. He plays for Espanyol, so don't let that put you off thinking that you maybe think he's a bad goalkeeper with the amount of goals that he's conceded. You put him in a really good solid team, and I think he could come on leaps and bounds. Available for a really affordable price this summer, set at £21 million or €25 million. A very affordable pick for Manchester City, who already did have their agreements in place with the player. They had their agreements in place for a little while now, so much so that we saw Newcastle United and also Barcelona get the same agreements in place as well, and then Manchester City decided that they're going to walk away from this transfer so they can fully concentrate on signing Diogo Costa rather than Joan Garcia. Now, Joan Garcia, I do feel like is still an option here for Man City in this summer transfer window. It's just I feel like Diogo Costa very much is Man City's first choice, and I presume that with Man City linking themselves and talking with Joan Garcia and making sure that that was public knowledge, a little transfer game's been played by Manchester City to ensure that there is some room for negotiations when it comes to a potential transfer for Diogo Costa. It's Man City telling FC Porto that if you're not going to negotiate and come down on your release clause, then we're going to look at other targets and you're going to miss out on a heck of a lot of money for a player that wants to sign for Man City this summer. So it's very much looking like Diogo Costa is going to be the goalkeeper, but we're still waiting for the clarity from Ederson and also Stefan Ortega Moreno. Do keep an eye on potential backup goalkeepers if Ortega decides to leave, and we still don't know what's happening with Scott Carson. We're maybe looking at 3 new goalkeepers Crazy. Anyway, that's goalkeeping talk sorted. Let's move on to a couple of defenders. The first defender I want to speak about is Andrea Cambiaso, the 25-year-old versatile fullback at Juventus. Italian international, made 32 appearances in Serie A with 2 goals and 3 assists for Juventus. He is quite a physical player, standing at just under 6 feet tall. It's really good that he's both-footed. He can cover left back, right back, can also play into midfield as well. A very versatile player. Does have some niggling little injuries coming up from this previous season. I think that's cast a bit of doubt in Manchester City's head about when it comes to signing a fullback, because I think we all thought for months that Andrea Cambiaso was going to be nailed on. City had everything in place to have this transfer sorted in the January transfer window and decided, do you know what, we'll focus on this in the summer, and all of a sudden here we are with Man City cooling their interest, and I'm waiting to see now if City will ignite that interest or not. I presume that all the agreements are very much still in place, but City are just having a look elsewhere when it comes to fullbacks. So maybe City just having a bit of doubt about his fitness and his ability to stay injury-free, and maybe put off by the price that we're looking at, probably north of £50 million to make this transfer happen. But still, a doable transfer for City if they do want to go down the versatile Andrea Cambiaso route. Another fullback that City have been getting linked with is Wesley, the 21-year-old right back at Flamengo in Brazil. The Brazilian's made 8 appearances so far in the Brazilian league, scoring no goals and grabbing 1 assist, stands in at 5'10", not proven in Europe, so this would be Man City taking a risk if they did decide to bring Wesley in. But the fact that there's so much interest coming in from teams in the Premier League and teams in Europe as well tells me that Wesley, obviously a very highly rated young prospect when it comes to a right back coming out of Brazil. So if it was available for an affordable price, I think I'd probably say it's worthwhile taking a punt. And by an affordable price, I think we'd be looking at somewhere between maybe 10 to 20 million pounds. We're looking at the next step. We're looking more at a Vita Hayes kind of price, set at just over £30 million. City brought Vita Hayes in for just under £30 million, so there might be a bit of room for negotiations, because at the moment Flamengo are wanting somewhere between £33.5 and £37.5 million for Wesley to sign for a club in Europe this summer, which with no experience playing in Europe is a risky transfer, and for me a tad expensive. We took the risk, obviously, with Vita Hayes. We clearly highly rate him, and I think he's got a heck of a lot of potential. And I feel like in the coming maybe 2 or 3 seasons, you may see just the very best out of Vita Hayes, who looks like a really composed, high-quality, mature young player. I've not seen Wesley all that much to be able to comment on just what we would expect from him, but clearly highly rated, and I think an option for Man City this summer. Now moving on, we'll have a look at some midfielders. Transfer I'm near enough certain City will get done is Tijjani Rinders, the 26-year-old central midfielder from AC Milan. If you've been watching my daily Man City transfer updates, you'll have heard me speak in very high regard about Tijjani Rinders, who is a wonderful, fantastic player who I think will really suit Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's system. So with AC Milan not having any European football next season, I think Tijjani Rinders has seen this as an ideal opportunity for him to leave the Serie A giants. Manchester City currently working on a deal to try and bring Tijjani Rinders in. City are looking at or wanting to pay around £50 million, with AC Milan asking for around £55 million. An agreement not too far away. Even reports have come out of Italy in the last 24 to 48 hours saying that agreement is in place, and I am expecting more clarity on this in the coming 24 to 48 hours, so do stay tuned to my Man City daily transfer updates. But Tijjani Rinders has made 36 appearances in Serie A with 10 goals and 5 assists, plays as a number 8, standing in at 6'1", good with the ball at his feet, a nice physical player. For me, he's a long-term Ilkay Gundogan replacement. Remains to be seen as to whether Gundo will be leaving City or not this summer, but his contract's up next summer, so certainly in the next 12 months we'll see Ilkay Gundogan leave the club, and I think Tijjani Rinders will be the player that takes over the reins when it comes to that permanent number 8 role in the Manchester City midfield. And another midfielder City are getting heavily linked with is Morgan Gibbs-White, the 25-year-old central midfielder from Nottingham Forest, English and homegrown. Nottingham Forest have moved on their asking price of £100 million, believed to be wanting £70 million for him this summer. He's got 2 years left on his contract at Nottingham Forest, and with Man City not signing Florian Wirtz this summer, it does mean that Man City have got some money and also some space in their midfield to bring some players in. I'm expecting City to sign at least 2 central midfielders. It all depends on what City want to do with their midfielders, because there is the potential, depending on who leaves, that City could go out and sign maybe 3 central midfielders. So even if the likes of Rayan Cherki and Tijjani Reijnders are brought in, I still think Man City will be making a move for Morgan Gibbs-White. Man City need homegrown players, with other homegrown players leaving the club, so a move for Morgan Gibbs-White with City's long-term interest is there. So for me, it makes a lot of sense. It ticks a lot of boxes. He's a workhorse. He likes to run. He's homegrown. Ticks a lot of boxes for Man City's squad and for midfield as well. And don't underestimate the importance of social well-being within the club, because Morgan Gibbs-White is very good friends with Phil Foden. He hangs around a lot with Phil Foden, with them obviously playing alongside each other for the England setup from a very young age. So they get on very well. I'm fairly sure that Morgan Gibbs-White is the godfather to Phil Foden's children as well. So I think bringing in a really good friend for Phil Foden will really just help him to hopefully be able to sort out whatever has been up with Phil Foden in his personal life over the last 12 months that's affected his performance on the pitch, and he'll be able to really get his head into the game, and we'll be able to see the very best from Phil Foden. So bringing in somebody who is really comfortable around, who is really good friends with, may just give him that confidence boost for him to start enjoying himself a little more, and we can start seeing the best from Phil Foden, and hopefully the best from Morgan Gibbs-White if we do decide to bring him in. He's played 33 times in the Premier League with 7 goals and 10 assists, stands in at 5'7". Now moving on, we've got the next player I want to speak about, which is a winger, Rodrygo, the 24-year-old Brazilian winger from Real Madrid. Real Madrid looking for around £85 million for him this summer. Arsenal have been heavily linked, but they're struggling to add him to their wage structure due to Rodrygo's high wage demands. I think Rodrygo's preference, if he's to leave Real Madrid, would be to go to the Premier League. I think he really likes Manchester City. I'm just not so sure if City are going to be making that move for him. And if that move doesn't come, and there is no other big money offers, I can't see him playing in the Premier League. I can't see him playing for Arsenal. I can't see him playing for Manchester City. So it leaves Rodrygo with not many options, and I can see him staying at Real Madrid even though he's available for sale. Now Rodrygo's a versatile attacker, 5'8", got pace, precision, a good finisher of the football as well. Not had his best season though last season with 6 goals and 6 assists in 30 La Liga games, but still a high quality, high profile, very much a shirt sale kind of signing. And Man City, if they want to go out there and make a signing of intent, a statement signing, then Rodrygo would make a lot of sense. A lot of sources coming in from Spain have all been speculating about Rodrygo joining Manchester City, but the fact that it's quiet in terms of sources coming in from England tells me all I need to know, that I just don't think a transfer is going to happen, unfortunately, as much as I do like Rodrygo. But still, like many other players on this list, an option for City this summer. Another player that City could well contemplate is Eberechi, the 27-year-old 5'10" English homegrown winger, of course, we're playing attacking midfield and plays for Crystal Palace. Now, we do have some question marks over Jack Grealish. We're having a little homegrown problem with the likes of Kyle Walker, Jack Grealish, Calvin Phillips, John Stones, all being linked with the exit door. All English players, which means City will need to bring in some top English talent into their first team squad to meet the homegrown quota, both for the Premier League and for European competitions as well. So I would be expecting over the coming weeks for Man City to start getting linked with some of the creme de la creme when it comes to upcoming English talent. And I feel like one of the most vastly underrated English players that's available is Eberechi, because he's a fantastic player. He's had a fantastic season with Crystal Palace, scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final to help Crystal Palace win their first ever domestic major competition and trophy. So obviously now a club legend at Crystal Palace. He's had a fantastic season in the Premier League, 33 appearances, 8 goals, 8 assists. Quality player, and do not underestimate the importance of it being a World Cup year. At the end of the upcoming 2025-2026 season, we will have the World Cup in North America, and a lot of these players want to be on the plane to North America and playing for their national team, which means they've got to be playing on a regular basis. It means that Man City could be quite busy with their outgoings if players feel like they're not going to get given their opportunity in the next 12 months, and that could hamper their potential possibility to be going to the World World Cup with their national team, then they will seek an exit away from Man City. And the same can be said for players who are playing for some clubs, which I'm not saying in disrespect here to Crystal Palace, but if clubs playing in the biggest and best competitions come calling for players and they have the guarantee of regular playing time, then these players are going to sit up and listen, because in terms of them having the opportunity of playing for their national team at a World Cup, managers want to be selecting players who are winning the big trophies, they're winning the Premier Leagues, they're winning the Champions League, they're going far in these competitions, and they're playing against successful big teams on a regular basis to give you that experience that if you can perform on the biggest and best stages for your club, then you can perform for your country as well on the biggest and best stage. So Eze, if the Champions League clubs decide to come calling and are willing to pay the Crystal Palace price and the Eberechi Eze price, then there is the possibility of that transfer happening, and I wouldn't rule out Man City maybe wanting to make a move, but at the moment it's a bit quiet on that front. Now moving on to two Rayans. The first I want to speak about, and a realistic transfer, this Rayan Ait-Nouri, the soon-to-be 24-year-old French-born Algerian left-back at Wolves. Premier League proven, excellent at getting forward. 36 appearances in the Premier League with 4 goals and 7 assists, standing at just under 6 feet tall. He's not too bad of a defender, but he's certainly a lot better offensively and getting forward. He does like to play more as a wing-back than a full-back, and City will be looking at full-back, so remains to be seen as to how we'd make the full-back, wing-back situation work, but I presume City are just looking for fresh legs here on the left-hand side. I don't know what it means for the future of Nathan Ake, who's had a very injury-stricken season for Manchester City, but with the amount of minutes that Joško Vardiol has had and how good he's looked playing at centre-back, maybe Man City in the long run want to be moving Joško Vardiol to be playing as a long-term partner with Ruben Diaz, because I thought that was a really good link-up for Man City at centre-back, so it leaves some space potentially on the left-hand side. We've obviously got Nathan Ake, Nico O'Reilly can play there as well, and just having an extra competition, an extra fresh legs there with a fresh new player coming in with fresh new ideas who's got a point to prove like Rayan Ait-Nouri makes a lot of sense. He does have 1 year left on his Wolves contract. Wolves do have the option to trigger a 1 year extension, which I imagine if some kind of transfer is going to happen, then they would be doing that to make sure that it was 2 years rather than 1 year and can ask for a little bit more money. But I certainly think that would be the left hand side when it comes to a full-back target for Man City this summer. And another Rayan I want to speak about very quickly is Rayan Cherki, the 21-year-old attacking midfielder and winger from Olympique Lyonnais in France. He's got a release clause apparently as a verbal agreement written in his contract, a written in verbal agreement. Very strange, but apparently that's worth around 20 to 25 million pounds, with so much interest coming in for Rayan Cherki this summer that Manchester City, to stand out from the crowd, are willing to improve their relations with Lyon, and they're willing to pay a little bit more to make sure this transfer can happen. And it is believed that Rayan Cherki will be Man City's next target once they've got everything sorted with Tijjani Rinders, which we're expecting in the coming couple of days. It's been thought that Rayan Cherki is going to be seen as a number 10 for Manchester City, which I'm not too sure what the plan is in going forward with Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, Man City may let another midfielder go and that opens a space for Morgan Gibbs-White. We'll see, but Rayan Cherki made 30 appearances in Liga 1 with 8 goals and 11 assists, stands in at 5'9", plays as an attacking midfielder who can play on the left and on the right hand side as well. And for me, I look at Rayan Cherki and I'm thinking, in terms of like the offensive point of view, I feel like Rayan Cherki is a really good Bernardo Silva replacement. So I don't know what this means for Bernardo Silva's future, but it does help in particular on that right hand side take a bit of slack off Savinho. I feel sorry for him. I feel like he's been chucked in on the deep end. We've not got many options on that right wing, in particular with the decline of form of Phil Foden, that Savinho's been left to pick up the pieces, and he's looked at times very good and at times a little lost, and it's to be expected. You need a couple of seasons to adapt under Pep Guardiola. So having an extra option, a class option coming in that could play in numerous positions, in particular across that attacking line, makes a lot of sense for a really affordable price, and very much the alternative to Florian Wirtz. And we don't really have to sit here and worry about a player flopping. You don't mind spending 20, 30 million pound bringing a player in who may or may not be very successful. He could just, it smells of being a really good transfer this for Manchester City, whereas you're talking adding another 100 million pounds to bring another player in, and it becomes very expensive and a lot of pressure. And I feel like that's been partly kind of some problem that we've had with Jack Grealish. There's always been that 100 million pound problem that everybody looks at him and says, oh, he's had a very good season back in the treble winning season, but has it been a 100 million pound kind of season? And then it just gets relentless, keeps going on and on and on and on. And price tag is very important when it comes to transfers. So picking up players for a good price take some pressure off them players, and it means they've got every opportunity of hitting the ground running. But it's all about the players' mental state and what mental attitude they've got when it comes to playing for their clubs. Can you let a price tag affect how you're going to play football on the pitch for 90 minutes? Questions to be answered. Now, another player I'm going to include as a bonus, I know it's 10 players we're looking at, but his name's out there, I just don't think City are going to sign him. It's Tino Livramento, the 22-year-old fullback from Newcastle, English and homegrown, 36 appearances, no goals, 1 assist, got bags of potential, can play both on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, comfortable with both feet, a real good player. Newcastle aren't going to want to sell him. With them getting Champions League football, this transfer becomes even more difficult. It will command a very big fee. I know it's City's dream choice, in particular on that right-hand side. I just can't see it happening, unfortunately, as much as I'd love Livramento to become a Man City player this summer. He's very much my Kyle Walker replacement, but we'll see if City do make a move and if they can make it happen. So they're just some players I wanted to have a look at this summer that City could potentially sign. Let me know in the comments below, which players do you want Man City to sign this summer and why? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up as well if you did enjoy this video. Subscribe as well if you're new around here. Remember, daily Man City transfer updates coming throughout June, July and August for you guys to enjoy here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It is free. Social media links are in the description too if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you again tomorrow, not just for my daily transfer update. Already done a daily transfer update which is already live on my channel if you want to go and check that out if you want more JSGC content, but also I'll be back tomorrow where I'm going to have a look at some players that Man City could potentially sell ahead of this upcoming summer transfer window. So do stay tuned for that, and that will be the final video of me having a look at some players that City could be signing and selling before I then crack on every single day with daily transfer updates for you guys to enjoy. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.